Hello, namaste. Today I'm going to talk about the AstoCalendar feature of Sirius. Let me just start off by showing it to you. Here I am in the Sirius 1.3 software. By the way, I have purposely made this image extend beyond the boundaries of the area that's being captured by the video. You'll see why in a minute. But you can see the top of or actually most of the Sirius window here. I'm looking at the chart of a famous person, actor Brad Pitt, and I'm going to select the AstoCalendar. So I select forecast. I'm in the Series 1.3 program, and so I select forecast, and there it is, AstoCalendar. So I select it, and there it is. I'm going to drag this to be more in the area. There, that fits pretty well. There's just a few little menu items at the top. We'll get those, capturing most of this, so you can see most of what's going on. You can see the entire calendar, and now you can see why I have this in a large size, because the type is small, so you can read it much better by having this relatively large for the area that's being captured for the video. So there it is. There's the AstoCalendar. I've got the month of August 2014, and this is Brad Pitt. So what does it tell us? We can see that on August 1st, transiting Venus is trine as Neptune. It's exact at 7:21 a.m. Transiting Moon is opposite natal Jupiter at 7:43 a.m. So this is a calendar that's an individual calendar. Here on the right side, it tells us we have three types of calendars. Mundane. That means what's in the sky, or what we often call transit to transit. You can do a personal, which is what I've selected now, or both. Appointment style, which shows you both the mundane and the personal. I'll show you all three of these. But this is the personal one. And it also tells you the moon sign. Moon is in Libra, goes from Libra to Scorpio on this day. You select the place so that these times are accurate for whatever place you've selected. That's in the settings. And we've selected a place on the East Coast, and it happens to be Eastern Daylight Time in August. If I go forward to September, I click forward. And by the way, you see there's a background image, so now we've got a Virgo image. We've got notification of holidays, and you can select what holidays you want to show, or you can remove that. All this is flexible. These images, by the way, are from a cathedral. Forget where we found this. I think it was in Sweden. We took pictures of these images. Okay, and you see it's still Eastern Daylight Time. If I go to October, and then to November, when does Daylight Time change? There it is. In November, Daylight Time changes for the place we've selected, which I'll show you in a minute. Standard Time begins November 2nd, 2014, which would be that Sunday. And then it even mentions Standard Time begins. So it's very nice. Tells you exactly when the time changes. The time is corrected. Here's Veterans Day. Here's Thanksgiving. Well, it's an American holiday. You can change the holidays. You may not want that if you're not in America. Or you may not want holidays at all. But you get the idea. And there's a scorpion image. You can change the backgrounds. So you get the basic idea. It's a very nice way to see what's going on in a friendly format where you have all of the information on a page. And let me show you some of the other options. Here's the mundane. So I click on mundane. And now I've got the same month of November 2014. Excuse me, but now these aspects are the aspects in the sky, not to the individual's chart. And it tells me when the moon enters signs. And I've also selected void of course. That VC means void of course. So the moon enters Aries at 1:53 p.m. The previous last aspect was Moon trine Saturn at 4:05 a.m. This is Eastern time zone. So there you've got it with the moon signs and so on, and you've got some flexibility to You don't have to show void of course if you don't want to. Because void of course is a transiting phenomenon, it only shows you when you select mundane or both, which I'll show you in a minute because it's part of what's going on in the sky, not relative to your chart. So I've selected mundane, so it shows the void of course, and I'll show you both. You're probably getting curious about that. And here we can see both the transits in the sky and the personal. So it says mundane, lists the mundane, lists the personal. So now you've got a nice combination of information where you can see what's going on in the sky. You can see when the moon went void of course, etc. So here's that moon entering Aries on November, let's see, we're in November 3rd, which is a Monday. The moon is in Pisces, changes to Aries. We can see that it goes to Aries at 1:53. We can see that the moon went into void of course at 4:05 a.m. And there's all the mundane aspects, and there are the aspects to the natal chart. So it's a nice way to combine transit to transit, transit to natal, in an attractive way. You probably noticed other things. We've got the quarters, moon quarters here, etc. All these colors you can select if you want to. In this format, you don't have 7 days in a week, on a line, because it doesn't fit very well to fit the information. So we put the Saturn and Sunday in a different color. Red was selected in this case. Let's go back to October, just so you can see another thing. And you notice that each month has a different color, so you can select a color scheme. This is a bluish sort of color. And here we've got that Libra image in the background. So that's the basic idea. We can go into settings, click on the settings button, and you see all these different options. Here's the for whether you want planets entering sign, whether you want the void of course, whether you want those quarter image. Let me slide this over. Where's a quarter image? Here's an example. Do you want this or not? So you can control all that. And here's the place. So it's based on New York City, New York, is how it's determined when the time changes. Here's the images. We've got zodiac signs selected. You can create your own color scheme if you want to. You can view and customize these defaults that we give. Let's see what the pastel backgrounds are. I'll select that. Here are the holiday settings for which holidays you want to include, or if you want to include any holidays, you can remove all of them if you want to. Different layouts, the font sizes for everything, exactly what the messages are. So you have very complete control over it. Here's the fonts, what font is used for the month, etc. So you have control over that. Main fonts, other fonts, and controlling exactly how it places them and adjusts positions. And basic settings, planets and aspects. I can click on that. So what planets do you want? What aspects do you want? I'll just cancel out of that. For void, of course, you can select whether you want the 5 Ptolemaic aspects or include all aspects that have been selected. And there's a checkbox for that. So there are a lot of controls you have over it. We have some notes here that, if you want to have being walked through this with the video, that helps. So I'll click OK because I made a change. What did I change? I changed the background to pastel backgrounds. I'll click OK, and now you'll just see a light color background. Actually, it's a light color with a subtle image. If I go forward to November, very subtle, faint image there in the background that changes color with each one. That's another option we gave, little mandala type of background. You can create other backgrounds. Maybe in the future versions we'll just keep adding more and more background images. Okay, so that's the calendar. To go back to my slide and review what we've got, it's a good way to combine transit to natal and transit to transit together in this appointment style, as we call it, where you have both. And to have things like void, of course, moon ingresses, moon phases. Actually, it'll show when any planet ingresses if you want to include that. I think by default we have that. Let's see, around the 21st. Let's see, Moon enters Scorpio. Here it is, on the 22nd. Sun enters Sagittarius, 4:38 a.m. So it's going to show any planets ingressing into signs, if you have that selected. Going back to my PowerPoint. Anyway, you see there's a lot of features, very nice, very compact. It's easy to read and pleasant, and this is really important. Visuals are, visual presentation is really important. When you get technical about something, you are an astrologer, you're thinking you just want the information. But why do we like Windows? Why do we like the Mac? Why do, because they're beautiful. Nobody is going to use DOS anymore. So visual presentation is important rather than just giving a client a listing or referring to that. If you have a client who knows some astrology and would like this information, very, very nice. So some of the features we went over, the personal, the mundane, or both, or what we call appointment style with both. The background color or image, you can select the place where the person is to get the times correct for that place. The planets, the aspects, etc., font styles, etc. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I need to cover with this. There's probably other things I didn't mention, but it gives you a fairly good idea of what the AstoCalendar feature is all about in Sirius, how you can use it and some of the things you can do with it. Okay, very good. Thank you for listening. God bless. Namaste.